we are leaving Indonesia and we're headed back up to China to talk about monetization in China. And our next speaker has got a lot of experience in monetization in China. He's been in the games industry in China for the past 15 years. He's had 3 successful exits. He is now on his next newest venture in terms of monetizing on mobile in China, and is here to share some of his expertise, knowledge, and insights. So without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to Calvin Ng, Executive Director, co-founder of 21 Pink.
Thank you, thank you. Is it working? Yeah. Afternoon, everybody. So my name is Calvin Ng, and I'm one of the co-founder of 21 Pink. Today, the topic will be mobile games for China. So just a little bit about our company. We are actually the first social entertainment casino games company in China. We do live entertainment, basically, using casino games. Okay? So some of the examples that I'll be showing today will be a little bit related to casino gaming, but you can actually use it on the general for overall most of the mobile games. So China is big and fast and growing. This is the chart that shows you the revenues in China. Right? It's going to be one of the biggest market that is coming, and this source is actually from all the VCs and so on, projecting that by 2016 and 2017 it will beat the US market in terms of revenues. And then it didn't change much, you see. From January 2014 to December 2014, you can look at the percentage between iOS and Android. It's almost the same. But iOS gained some more percentage now because of the iPhone 6, which is making a big killing in China, and a lot of people is actually getting on board the iPhone 6. Right? So App Store's revenue, this is probably a very important slide. This is a worldwide thing, but from here you can see that Android is one of the most important revenue sector for Android, the Android China. So you can see from here is that Android managed to beat iOS, basically because of China. Right? So, but China is not easy. It's a very, very complicated landscape. You can look just from here. We have multi-app stores, advertising, payment, and publishing channel. The whole entire network here is what you need to deal with in China. And it's a totally different ecosystem. Just look at the top grossing game on iOS. They are all made in China. Exactly like the previous speakers who has been speaking for like Japan market, you can see that only below we have like 4 games that's in the top 20, 30 range that is actually from overseas. The rest are actually made in China. Right? So this is one market that is huge competition. Look at the statistics for the past 8 months. You have 34,000 games that is launched in China in just 8 months. So, and this trend is continuing. So it's a very, very huge competitive landscape, right? So the good part about our company is that poker games ranks 3rd in China. Now, when I speak of poker games, a lot in the West, they will be thinking about Texas Hold'em. But actually why it ranks 3rd is because of the local type of poker game, like the landlord. Right? Next, poker games is also the top 5 most paying user. So this also shows you that Chinese people like card games, and with a little bit of a gambling element. So a lot of game developers should actually add a little bit of gambling elements into their game, such as you can win a jackpot or you can scratch something to win something back, right? So these are the charts that shows you the users game time. So from this particular chart, you can see that the card battle game, SLG, and mid-core is actually increasing in China. This is predicted to be the next growth area where mobile games will be evolving into. And I think about 1/3 of the studios that are met in China are all moving into mid-core, something that more investments are needed, higher quality graphics, and so on. Right? So, and China have, just like Indonesia, a young user group of players for mobile games. And this category, you look at about 50%, 26 to 35 years old, which is the right category. And we have an increasing female audience. Now, China is also used to be like Indonesia, majority of the paying users are all males, basically. But if you target female users, okay, on the contrary, on e-commerce, female spends more money. So maybe the trend can change, that females will spend money on virtual items as well. So this is the growth is moving towards to the second-tier cities and the third-tier cities. The first-tier cities basically all cover up. A lot of people has already understand how to download games, how to play games, how to pay for games, and so on. So the growth are moving to the second-tier cities that you can see even on the third-tier cities like Gansu and so on, increase in double digits. Right? Now, this comes to one of the shocking slides. Everything is big, fast, and so on, but 91% of all games fail in China, or you don't make any money at all. Now, don't be disappointed at 91%. About another 5% is not accounted for, so you're looking at about 85, 86%. Okay? Many Chinese developers and game studios don't like to announce that they are making money for one simple reason. If they blast out to tell everybody, yeah, my game is now making a lot of money, they could make more money by doing so because of the publicity, but they have another 100 competitors that will copy exactly the same game. Okay? So a lot of Chinese developers like to keep quiet about it. So there's another 5-6% there. But because of the vast majority of games, like just now I mentioned, like 38,000 games launched in 8 months, this is the number that you get. Majority of the games would never make money. Right? So in summary, you have a complicated publishing system, a lot of app stores, API management that you need to really manage. Each app store have their own API. That's why I think earlier here there was another company called Kick9 or something like that that helps you integrate all these APIs together. You have lots of advertising and promotions onto each different app stores, and then you have your revenues collection and your data discrepancies that you need to discuss with each of the app stores. Then you have legal contracts and so on, and then come the next hardest part, complicated government process. Basically, every game needs to be submitted to the government. Although that they need not approve you to be launched in China, but you do need to submit. The government is keeping a hand, just like how they do online games before, that if you submit, does not mean that you can go on forever. They just allow you that you're able to launch. You need to get a publishing code later on. And then, of course, the last one, cultural understanding and localization, which I will have a few slides on that. So, localization-wise, we look at designs and appearance. I'm going to use poker, which we are familiar with. You can see Zinger poker compared with Texas Hold'em in China, okay, is more voluptuous. Chinese guys likes the curve. Which is very true, all right? So, and then the next thing you need is auspicious icons in China. Things that makes Chinese people feel special, lucky, and so on, right? And then there's the language barrier. So A lot of people think that language is just about translation, which is not. I'm going to give you an example in poker. If somebody wins in poker, you tell them, good hand, right, in the West. But in China, let's say in the Guangdong province, they have a word for it. Did you step on shit? You're damn lucky. Or dog shit. See? All right? And that's only for the Guangdong province itself. Each province have a different way of expressing, whether you are lucky or you are bad luck or something like that. Now, next, China is highly competitive. You will never see any simple poker that have such enhanced features. You can actually send voice over the Texas Hold'em table itself. And to make matter worse, just like 10 days ago, before Casual Connect, today, the same poker that I've shown here, he added video, live video onto it, which means that you're playing a table of 8 or 9 players, you can actually broadcast yourself to the rest of the other players. And some Chinese people do like to do that. But yeah, starting it with broadcasting girls so that it makes it more exciting for the guys to stay, right? So elsewhere in the world is Facebook login. In China, is WeChat, basically. And then later you have Alibaba, and then you have Baidu, and so on. They're starting to have their own membership logins. This is a super heavy-duty thing that needs to be done in China. VIP rooms for poker or VIP status for any other games. You have to make your whales feel very special. So VIP is a key thing. If you don't do this, you probably lose 60 to 80% of your revenues. Okay? Now, another advertisement that I'm going to show you. These are from a video advertisement I'm taking. It's a little bit blur, but you can see is that a girl outside the door of a hotel room trying to seduce the guy, and then they end up in bed. And what happened next? They play poker. Okay? And these are the kind of things that attracts Chinese users, okay, as far as poker is concerned, right? Now, I think 2 more slides from here. Seeding mechanics is a secret in China that today I reveal to every one of you. Many people do not know this or would never present this in any forum or conference and so on. Okay? Seeding is about when you launch a game. Let's say you don't want to go through a publisher, you want to do it yourself, or you go through a publisher, the publisher will do it for you if they have big confidence in your game, and that is that they seed your game. What do you mean by seeding your game? They actually buys and pump up the revenue of the game itself. Now, what is the good thing about this is that when the channels or the app store sees that your game is, wow, is doing so well, all of them want to grab your game over. And this is a fact. I know a company in China, I called them before I came here, can I show your game to the audience? And he said, no, please don't do it. You know? So how does this game company succeeded 6 months ago? He actually just launched their game on 360. Not on 100 app store, not on 200 app store, but just one app store, one Android app store in China, and he put it up on iOS. What he does is that he spends 5 million RMB into seeding his game on 360 platform. And when the rest of the app store saw that, shit, his game is making money, he starts getting calls from every app stores in China. Can we do a partnership with you for your game? Now, this is a real case scenario that people, well-kept secret, actually, right? Now, if all fails, you can do the U-turn bird. Anybody from Rovio here? I hope not, okay? So, Rovio have tried and tested the market, and they take a U-turn today, okay? They didn't want to publish on their own anymore. They go through a publisher. But it's not that it is impossible for single company to come to China to make money from the mobile games market. One of the ways that you all can do is that simplest way. Talk to everybody, sell your game to the Chinese publishers. They can pay if you have a good game. Okay? If not, sign a contract with them. Okay? Make sure that you get a good marketing budget that they're going to push it for you. Okay? Or you can try the Rovio way as well. Some do succeed, but Chinese market is very, very hard to understand. That's for sure. And thank you.
Questions?
Hello, very nice to meet you. I'm from Aristocrat. I have a quick question for you. You think there is a future for social casino games in China?
Well, social casino games have always been in China, and it has always been on the gray area.
Yeah, I saw lots of poker games. How about slots?
Slots is something that is very, very gray. Okay? But on the mobile side, they may allow it soon. Because why slots was banned in China before was because during the web games era and the online game era in China 10 years ago, 8 years ago, there were no social slots. All slots were operated by casino operators. That's why they banned it. But today they are starting to see that actually they are social slots. Okay? So this may change.
Okay, hi. This is Adrian from another indie studio. As we are in, well, we already introduced a little bit in China. You said that for logging we should use WeChat, but we face many problems to connect with WeChat. Actually, we found that WeChat is very log system. When you try to make logins or even take friends or even get some information from the users, they are almost not giving you the rights to do that. So how you manage with WeChat?
Well, basically you just use them for login. You don't take any data from them. The Chinese protects their data very, very tightly, okay? Because they don't like to share, basically. So the key advice is that make use of the best use from each of these platforms. Like WeChat, just use them as a login. And probably you face some technical problem is that probably your API is outdated. They have a new API almost like every 2-3 weeks and so on. You got continuous updating all these API.
Any other questions for Calvin, who's been really successful in the Chinese market? Okay.
Yeah. Do you have any recommendations or suggestions about the Chinese government approval process? Is it quite hard to figure out, and therefore it's best to have a local partner or a local consultant, or is it something that can be learned from a foreign company?
Easiest way, get a local partner, but it's not hard to actually submit it yourself. Just for disclosure, I'm not Chinese. I'm a Malaysian. Okay? But I've been in China for 15 years, and all these 15 years I've been in the games and mobile market. Okay? So you can do it. Okay? You can learn to submit and so on. They don't stop you from submitting. But the only problem would be that you need the license to operate the game. And that you probably can do a lot of partnerships. There are so many games companies in China. Look at 38,000 games launched in 8 months. There are like probably 20 over 1,000, 30 over 1,000 games companies in China that you can actually partner with any one of them just to help you get your games up. And then you can manage it from overseas. There are many people who does that, actually.
Thank you.
Another question?
Afternoon. I will ask, we were talking about copycats. How do you deal, or what's your strategy against copycat schemes?
Currently in China, there is not much strategy. Very hard to sue them because the China IPR law is actually very weak. But there are ways that you can deal with them, whereby join the Great Wall Club of China, which consists of all mobile game developers and so on. So through the Great Wall Club of China, they can pressure certain games that is like totally copying your stuff, ripping off your assets and your brand name and so on, and force them out of the app stores. Without the app stores, not much chance of making money, and then of course they don't want to copy you. But there's so much only Great Wall Club of China can do.
Hi.
Hi.
So you mentioned poker and slots, but can you discuss any other local social casino games that might have a present or a future in China? Baccarat or any other games you might think are relevant to think of?
Well, China has been running many people has been running mainly local games like the Landlord, Doudichu. Doudichu is probably the most famous game there. A lot of casino games are banned, but they are like on the gray area. You have blackjack, which is still on deeper gray, but still a lot of people are operating it still. And slots could make a comeback. And there are many local social casino games like, have you heard of Fishing Joy? In Chinese, it's called 捕鱼达人. Fishing Joy is like shooting the fish and so on. Actually, the whole entire mechanics behind this game is a slot machine, basically. And even the effects, like the minute you catch a fish, it's not the fish, it's coins going into your bank. Okay? So the entire mechanics is based on this itself.
So maybe just a quick follow-up question. So why is poker different? There's a lot of poker in China.
Yeah,
Why
there's
is
a
that?
lot of poker. Poker is one game that at this very moment is neither approved or not approved. It's on the gray area, but so far there's already like 3 public listed companies, games companies in China that their main game is Texas Hold'em. So that shows you that actually Texas Hold'em is legal technically. And if they were to shut down Texas Hold'em, by all these 3 company shares would drop tremendously. But there are other listed game company that actually does social casino games, but they're hiding it. Like if you read some of the listed mobile games companies, they are doing mobile games, you will see that they put it under card games. It's bigger category, all kinds of card games are inside there, but 95% of the revenue comes from social casino style games. But they don't tell it out. There's a saying, don't attract attention when it's not needed to attract attention in China.
Any other questions? Okay, let's give a
Thank
round
you.
of applause for Calvin. Thanks.